For a long time, the U.S. has viewed China as a significant source of anti-American propaganda, but less aggressive in its influence activities compared to Russia, which has used covert operations and cyberattacks to disrupt U.S. elections and discredit opponents. However, some officials and experts in Washington believe that China is now adopting tactics similar to Russia, and there is growing concern that the U.S. is not adequately responding. There have been recent examples of China-linked groups creating false news stories with artificial intelligence and posting a large number of negative social media posts. While some of these efforts are amateurish, they suggest a willingness by Beijing to engage in more influence campaigns as part of a broader embrace of covert operations, according to two individuals familiar with the matter who spoke anonymously to discuss sensitive intelligence. To us, the attempt is what stands out, one U.S. intelligence official said. People in Washington are worried about China's plans to become very powerful and the possibility of a war over Taiwan. They think the U.S. should work harder to stop China from having too much influence in other countries, especially in Africa, Asia, and Latin America. Some people in those countries like both China and the U.S. Some U.S. politicians want the whole government to work together to solve this problem. China's leaders are saying bad things about the U.S. and its government to people all over the world. The U.S. thinks that China is spreading false information on social media and other places. China says that the U.S. is doing the same thing. China and the U.S. are arguing about some things that have happened recently. The U.S. says China is not telling the truth about a train accident in Ohio, and China says the U.S. did something bad to a pipeline that carries gas from Russia. The U.S. thinks that Russia has tried to help Donald Trump become president, but China did not try to do the same thing in 2020. However, some U.S. officials think that China is now doing things it has not done before to win people over in other countries. They think this is because China is afraid it is losing the battle of narratives in many places. Some people are looking at examples of false information and influence that groups have found recently. A company called Graphica found some videos that were made by AI and linked to a group supporting China. One video criticized the way the U.S. deals with gun violence, while another talked about how China and the U.S. need to work together for the world economy. Google also found many posts and activity from a group called Dragonbridge that supported China. However, these videos and posts did not have many views and did not reach a big audience. A U.S. intelligence official said that China's social media skills are not as good as Russia's, but they might get better with more practice. People in the U.S. are worried about TikTok, a popular video app that is being reviewed for national security reasons. Some people think China might use the app to influence people's opinions without being noticed. Many people in the US, Europe, Australia, South Korea and Japan don't like China, but in other parts of Asia, Africa and Latin America, people are more positive because China has invested in their countries and helped with things like building infrastructure and security.